On November 3rd, Pakistan's President, General Pervez Musharraf, declared de facto martial law, firing the Supreme Court, suspending the Constitution, and jailing thousands of journalists, lawyers, judges, students, and pro-democracy activists. Musharraf claims that emergency rule is necessary in order to combat Islamic extremists. But critics of Musharraf say he's simply a dictator trying to control the outcome of elections that are slated for January 9th, 2008. The Bush administration has refrained from outright condemnation of Musharraf, as he is one of the key allies in the war on terror. We spoke with Richard Deeg, professor of political science and international relations at Temple University, about the situation in Pakistan and the repercussions for the U.S.
I think they will go ahead and have an election. The question is, how constrained will it be in terms of who actually gets to compete in that election? It seems clear that Bhutto's party will be able to compete. But there are some other major opposition parties, like Nawaz Sharif's party, which is probably going to be excluded. So already it's going to be kind of a constrained election. And certainly if martial law is still in place, that restricts certain freedoms of the press, or at least there's a threat to freedom of the press, as well as individual speech. So it will be a compromised election. The regime has gotten increasingly shaky over time, in part because of the fundamentalist threat, but also because there are pro-democratic groups within Pakistan, as witnessed by, for example, the mass demonstrations by thousands of lawyers in Pakistan, who have grown tired of the regime, want to see return to democracy, are tired of unfulfilled promises by Musharraf to return to democracy. So there was more than one source of sort of threat to his legitimacy and stability. So Pakistan is only important in some sense to the United States, as long as there is sort of a fundamentalist threat that is connected to that region. On the one hand, the U.S. is, I think, genuinely condemning a lot of this. On the other hand, we're continuing to support the regime that's perpetrating these violations. I don't think the U.S. is disingenuous in saying we don't care about human rights or democracy in Pakistan. But if the two goals are in conflict, I don't think they're going to sacrifice national security for human rights in the short term.
So why should we care? Why should the freedom of citizens of a country thousands of miles away from the U.S. be important to us?
Well, if you care about the war on terrorism, it's very important to that. It's also very important more generally for concerns about the proliferation of nuclear weapons. Pakistan is a strong democracy that can help Afghanistan become a strong democracy. So in that sense, I think it is very important to the United States and anybody who cares about democracy and human rights.
As elections draw near, the U.S. will continue to closely monitor the situation in Pakistan, because democracy in Pakistan could help stabilize this volatile region and aid the U.S. in their war on terror. From all of us at Group 4 News, thank you. Have a good night.